80 Lessons from the Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. 1. Financial success is not a hard science. It's a soft skill, where how you behave is more important than what you know. 2. Wealth is what you don't see. 3. Luck and risk are siblings. They are both the reality that every outcome in life is guided by forces other than individual effort. 4. Things that have never happened before happen all the time. 5. The trick when dealing with failure is arranging your financial life in a way that a bad investment here and a missed financial goal there won't wipe you out, so you can keep playing until the odds fall in your favor. 6. The hardest financial skill is getting the goalpost to stop moving. 7. Modern capitalism is a pro at two things: generating wealth and generating envy. 8. Enough is realizing that the opposite, an insatiable appetite for more, will push you to the point of regret. 9. You don't need tremendous force to create tremendous results. 10. If something compounds, if a little growth serves as the fuel for future growth, a small starting base can lead to results so extraordinary they seem to defy logic. 11. If you're terrific in this business, you're right 6 times out of 10. 12. The good jokes I see on Netflix are the tales that stuck out of a universe of hundreds of attempts. 13. The highest form of wealth is the ability to wake up every morning and say, I can do whatever I want today. 14. Doing something you love on a schedule you can't control can feel the same as doing something you hate. 15. When you see someone driving a nice car, you rarely think, wow, the guy driving that car is cool. Instead, you think, wow, if I had that car people would think I'm cool. 16. If respect and admiration are your goal, be careful how you seek it. Humility, kindness, and empathy will bring you more respect than horsepower ever will. 17. Happiness, as it's said, is just results minus expectations. 18. Exercise is like being rich. You think, I did the work and I now deserve to treat myself to a big meal. Wealth is turning down that treat meal and actually burning net calories. 19. Building wealth has little to do with your income or investment returns, and lots to do with your savings rate. 20. When you define savings as the gap between your ego and your income, you realize why many people with decent incomes save so little. 21. People with enduring personal finance success tend to have a propensity to not give a damn what others think about them. 22. Saving does not require a goal of purchasing something specific. You can save just for saving's sake. 23. Savings without a spending goal gives you options and flexibility, the ability to wait and the opportunity to pounce. 24. When you don't have control over your time, you're forced to accept whatever bad luck is thrown your way. 25. Intelligence is not a reliable advantage in a world that's become as connected as ours has. But flexibility is. 26. Nothing is as good or as bad as it seems. 27. You'll get closer to actionable takeaways by looking for broad patterns of success and failure. The more common the pattern, the more applicable it might be to your life. 28. Recent history is often the best guide to the future, because it's more likely to include important conditions that are relevant to the future. 29. You have to give yourself room for error. You have to plan on your plan not going according to plan. 30. The best way to achieve felicity is to aim low. 31. The idea is that you have to take risk to get ahead, but no risk that can wipe you out is ever worth taking. 32. A good rule of thumb for a lot of things in life is that everything that can break will eventually break. 33. The most important part of every plan is planning on your plan not going according to plan. 34. Some of the most miserable workers I've met are people who stay loyal to a career only because it's the field they picked when deciding on a college major at age 18. 35. The trick is to accept the reality of change and move on as soon as possible. 36. Everything has a price, and the key to a lot of things with money is just figuring out what that price is and being willing to pay it. 37. Like everything else worthwhile, successful investing demands a price. But its currency is not dollars and cents. It's volatility, fear, doubt, uncertainty, and regret. 38. The question is, why do so many people who are willing to pay the price of cars, houses, food, and vacations try so hard to avoid paying the price of good investment returns. 39. There is an iron law in economics: extremely good and extremely bad circumstances rarely stay that way for long because supply and demand adapt in hard-to-predict ways. 40. We need to believe we live in a predictable, controllable world, so we turn to authoritative-sounding people who promise to satisfy that need. 41. The more you want something to be true, the more likely you are to believe a story that overestimates the odds of it being true. 42. It can't be overstated: there is no greater force in finance than room for error. 43. I don't know what I don't know. So I am just as susceptible to explaining the world through the limited set of mental models I have at my disposal. 44. Risk is what's left over when you think you've thought of everything. 45. Expecting things to be bad is the best way to be pleasantly surprised when they're not. 46. There are a million ways to get wealthy, and plenty of books on how to do so. But there's only one way to stay wealthy: some combination of frugality and paranoia. 47. Getting money is one thing. Keeping it is another. 48. A plan is only useful if it can survive reality. And a future filled with unknowns is everyone's reality. 49. Room for error, often called margin of safety, is one of the most underappreciated forces in finance. 50. Conservative is avoiding a certain level of risk. Margin of safety is raising the odds of success at a given level of risk by increasing your chances of survival. 51. Your success as an investor will be determined by how you respond to punctuated moments of terror, not the years spent on cruise control. 52. A good definition of an investing genius is the man or woman who can do the average thing when all those around them are going crazy. 53. As much as we recognize the role of luck in success, the role of risk means we should forgive ourselves and leave room for understanding when judging failures. 54. Modern capitalism is a pro at two things: generating wealth and generating envy. Perhaps they go hand in hand. Wanting to surpass your peers can be the fuel of hard work. 55. Wealth is just the accumulated leftovers after you spend what you take in. 56. You will desire less if you care less about what others think of you. 57. Having more control over your time and options is becoming one of the most valuable currencies in the world. 58. Do not aim to be coldly rational when making financial decisions. Aim to just be pretty reasonable. 59. Planning is important, but the most important part of every plan is to plan on the plan not going according to plan. 60. The more you need specific elements of a plan to be true, the more fragile your financial life becomes. 61. When most of what we pay attention to is the result of a tale, it's easy to underestimate how rare and powerful they are. 62. The biggest single point of failure with money is a sole reliance on a paycheck to fund short-term spending needs, with no savings to create a gap between what you think your expenses are and what they might be in the future. 63. Saving without a spending goal gives you options and flexibility, the ability to wait and the opportunity to pounce. 64. We should avoid the extreme ends of financial planning. Assuming you'll be happy with a very low income, or choosing to work endless hours in pursuit of a high one, increases the odds that you'll one day find yourself at a point of regret. 65. Life isn't any fun without a sense of enough. 66. The point is that the ceiling of social comparison is so high that virtually no one will ever hit it. Which means it's a battle that can never be won. 67. The ability to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want, is priceless. It is the highest dividend money pays. 68. People like to feel like they're in control, in the driver's seat. When we try to get them to do something, they feel disempowered. 69. The world is filled with people who look modest but are actually wealthy and people who look rich who live at the razor's edge of insolvency. 70. Spending beyond a pretty low level of materialism is mostly a reflection of ego approaching income, a way to spend money to show people that you have, or had, money. 71. Acting on investment forecasts is dangerous. But I get why people try to predict what will happen next year. It's human nature. It's reasonable. 72. History helps us calibrate our expectations, study where people tend to go wrong, and offers a rough guide of what tends to work. 73. Realizing the future might not look anything like the past is a special kind of skill that is not generally looked highly upon by the financial forecasting community. 74. Historians are not prophets. 75. The wisdom in having room for error is acknowledging that uncertainty, randomness, and chance, unknowns, are an ever-present part of life. 76. Bill Gates once said, "Success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they can't lose." 77. The accidental impact of actions outside of your control can be more consequential than the ones you consciously take. 78. Studying a specific person can be dangerous because we tend to study extreme examples, the billionaires, the CEOs, or the massive failures that dominate the news, and extreme examples are often the least applicable to other situations. 79. Every financial decision a person makes sense to them in that moment and checks the boxes they need to check. They tell themselves a story about what they're doing and why they're doing it. 80. Reputation is invaluable. Freedom and independence are invaluable. Family and friends are invaluable. Being loved by those who you want to love you is invaluable. Thank you for listening. I hope this content is useful to you. If you like this kind of content, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel to support our team.